Hey guys, so I wanted to make a really big spoilery scoop video about the WandaVision season, last three episodes 7, 8, 9, and especially the season finale. And I just have to say that do not watch this until after March 5th if you don't want to ruin the surprise. I have some sources to industry insiders to get these scoops. I had a source kind of quasi spoil the Mandalorian season 2 season finale where Luke Skywalker appeared. It still blew me away because I didn't know exactly what was going to happen, and it just happened, and it was super cool. But I can only imagine if it was like completely spoiled to me that it wouldn't have been as cool. And that's how I feel about this WandaVision season finale. So if you are actually watching this before March 5th and you want to really enjoy March 5th's episode, come back and watch this video afterward. You save it in a link or somewhere in a draft, whatever. But I honestly would want most of you to do that, even if you are the kind who are like totally okay with having things spoiled. And then if you're among the 1% that wants to watch this before March 5th, because you'll still be equally just blown away by the execution of this scoop and this spoil, then that's totally fine. So a while ago, Kevin Feige met with Ian McKellen to ask him for like just general actors' notes and things on how he would like to see an MCU rendition of Magneto be executed in the MCU, and whether he would be willing to give like to mentor, acting notes potentially to the person that they hire to be the ongoing MCU Magneto. After he kind of greased the wheels and buttered him up at everything, and kind of like just introduced the idea like Inception by degrees, he said, "How would you feel about appearing in an MCU project as the old Magneto before you would be de-aged, and a recast actor would be the younger version of you?" And he didn't necessarily say yes right away, but he thought it over and everything, and then he said yes. And so Wanda's brother, I believe they're going to use something that they're allowed to use from Aaron Taylor Johnson, whether it was a spin-off promotional thing or unused footage or whatever, and to avoid having to pay him for or get him to agree to reprising his acting role, that will be the version of him that Wanda will try to resurrect Aaron Taylor Johnson's portrayal of Quicksilver, just like she sort of resurrected Vision, which I won't spoil that. You'll have to, that part you actually will have to watch to the end of the season to explain how Vision comes to be. Oh, cool thing. There was discussions of, if you've read the comics or if you played the 1990s arcade version of the Avengers, there was a discussion about having a version of Vision after he would be restored, where he would be his white phantom phasing version. I mean, he still phases anyway, but that would be like his later iconic look. And they even made promotional art for it and everything, concept art. But I don't know if they're still going to do that before they send off Paul Bettany from his acting career with Marvel. But basically, so you might see Wanda trying, after she successfully did so with Vision, so to speak, in this bubble world and everything, you'll see her try to do the same thing with the Aaron Taylor Johnson version of Quicksilver, and she's just slowly trying to master her chaos powers, and so there's still a lot of chaos. That's a part of that, and as a result, it'll fail, and she'll actually bring back a multiversal version of Quicksilver, which is played by Evan Peters. Additionally, to kind of further build out from that, Wiccan and Speed will grow up at an accelerated rate, and they'll join the new Avengers, which is being set up. And in addition to that too, her father is going to make an appearance. It's going to be Ian McKellen. He's like his old post-Holocaust surviving self. And he's going to have a badass scene. It's really cool and awesome and exciting and everything and engaging. And then he's basically going to be taken away to Krakoa to be imprisoned there and experimented on. And Krakoa is going to de-age him after like putting him into like a cocoon type substance. And it's going to spit back out the younger version of Magneto, who is going to now be like just more like middle-aged, like in the original comics in his 60s run. And that version will be played by somebody else. They've been casting for so Feige sent out like a talent submission or whatever for Ian McKellen to reprise the old version of him. And they've been doing casting auditions for the young version of Magneto. And so Dan Stevens, for instance, is one of those. He originally played David Haller in Legion, which is not going to be part of the MCU. So they can afford to recast him as an MCU role. And he may be the young version of Magneto. They also talked about the possibility of casting Fassbender to reprise his role as the young Magneto. In this case, it would make sense because he played the young Magneto that eventually became the old Magneto that was played by Ian McKellen. So if you have a mirrored 616 version of Magneto also played by Ian McKellen and he is reverse aged, then it would make sense to have Michael Fassbender reprise his role if he still wanted to after Dark Phoenix and everything. But WandaVision is only going to show us the Ian McKellen Magneto. And you're going to see, I don't know exactly what they're going to do. They have to keep it all within what they're contractually and legally able to do. I don't know if they got the, I've never seen like his contracts from Avengers Age of Ultron or anything like that to see if he even, if they're even allowed to use unused footage of him in a future MCU project. But if so, you will see that before she spits out a multiversal version of him, the Evan Peters Quicksilver. And then Magneto is the other big one. But that's how it's going to end, is, basically him intervening and trying to get Wanda out of this world. And then he'll basically be, I don't know if he'll collapse from using his power or if he'll be seen as an even bigger threat than Wanda. And because of that reason, he'll be like taken into custody or whatever. But essentially, he's going to be taken to Krakoa and to be imprisoned. And this will help to set up the first X-Men movie, where the third act involves the mission to Krakoa. This will be a variation of Giant Size X-Men 1, where instead of the original 5 X-Men being captured with only Cyclops escaping, it'll be Magneto who's there, and they'll go. And there's so much more I could say about that. But this WandaVision is setting up 5 properties, really. And that is Spider-Man 3, the third Spider-Man Tom Holland installment. Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness. Ms. Marvel. Well, Monica Rambeau will appear in Ms. Marvel. The Secret Invasion / Nick Fury / Agents of S.W.O.R.D. Disney Plus series, which itself will lead into Captain Marvel 2. So WandaVision helps to set up X-Men in sort of indirectly and directly through many of these. So number one, it's going to help set up Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, which is going to debut the Illuminati in the either like the end of the third act or a post-credit scene in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, which will debut 2 mutants, specifically Professor Charles Xavier and Namor the Submariner. Number 2, in the Agents of S.W.O.R.D. / Secret Invasion / Nick Fury series, this is going to help to, because they're established in WandaVision, this is sort of tying into that. In that, you'll see Kitty Pryde and Beast. And it's going to be the blue furry Hank McCoy. Then number 3, in Captain Marvel 2, we'll see the debut of Rogue and Mystique. And then in the first X-Men movie, obviously we'll see the X-Men. And that's where it'll pick up where it left off with Magneto. But Magneto will be kind of an anti-hero versus a villain in the MCU, so that they're not just recycling the same old tropes. And he'll be kind of like a cameo character for a little while before he'll take a more prominent lead in Avengers Secret Wars. Also, one of the Sword agents in WandaVision reprises his role in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which will help to establish Madripoor, which will help to establish a sequel series. It'll be kind of like a prequel into sequel series, which is the Weapons Plus project, which will tie into the first Wolverine standalone movie, as well as the X-Men movie, and a bunch of other things. So mutants are coming very fast. They're coming very predominantly, and it starts with WandaVision. Basically, that Wiccan and Speed will be mutants, that Wanda will have been a mutant, that Quicksilver will have been a mutant, and that her father Magneto will be a mutant. So anyway, I'm going to reshare and repost this video after March 5th, when all of these predictions come true, to show that, I was sitting on this. I was really nervous about, I really debated whether to make this video, but I just kind of wanted to get it out there in case there was somebody crazy enough who wanted to spoil it. There's chances that for some of the stuff that I mentioned, that they could be changed before, final post-production. But as far as I know, Magneto is showing up at the end, and Quicksilver is showing up a little bit before the end, and this is also setting up Mephisto, who will reprise in Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. Oh, and Wanda is going to be in the third Spider-Man act now, too. If you like this video, like the video, feel free to leave any comments or anything, and feel free to subscribe if you want some more spoilery scoops, and then some not as spoiling scoops as well. Thanks everyone, stay geeky fam, and take care.